How good could our 2020 defense be? In my opinion, they got an opportunity to be better than 2017's defense by the end of the season.
I think that the defensive tackles have to step up in a big way to get there. I also think that the cornerbacks need to step up in a big way to get there. And with all due respect to Corey Couch, I need the bigger guys to step up at cornerback. I mean Christian Williams. I mean DJ Ivey. I mean Isaiah Dunson as a freshman coming in. I mean Al Blades Jr. I need those guys to step up and increase their performance. But the edge rushing situation is as good now as it has been pretty much anywhere. Or any time in the past. Linebacker situation, sure, has one fifth-year senior, but not, all three, 3 and 4 year starters like we've had in years past, but has more athleticism. Let me say that again, has more athleticism than any of those prior defenses. Because, for all that they did, Shaq Quarterman and Mike Pinckney were not athletic freaks. You know what I mean? Like, they had good size, they had good instincts, they were quick enough, and they did some things. But, I mean, we have guys who are bigger physically and faster athletically. Like, that's just incontrovertible. Now, those guys might not be as well-versed students of the game. They might not perform at a level because those guys, 55 or 56 were very cerebral. They knew the inside and out of the defense. They could even freelance a little bit and still make things work. But, I mean, so you're talking about defensive tackle maybe being a half step down from 2017, defensive end being probably better than 2017, linebacker more athletic but maybe not as seasoned right now. Safety is incredible, probably the best defensive position on the team, and then size and speed at cornerback, but needing to improve performance. It is possible that this defense could be better than 2017. It would, again, just maybe the strengths are balanced in a little bit different ways. But I mean, I think that this defense can be one of the best in the country for sure. I mean, and all they need, again, Miami would have had an even higher championship caliber defense if they'd gotten anything from the offense in the second half of the year or any of these other terrible losses. Still, with a top 25 statistical defense, that was a championship caliber defense. And if you're talking about the ACC Coastal, that is championship. I'm not saying a national championship. I mean, obviously, you need a little bit more on offense and the defense to be a little bit better. But this is a defense that will have you competing in every game and for the kind of championships that you want, division, conference, and national. So it can be, but you need to get a little bit more from the offense as well. But if you look at them in a vacuum, this defense can be one of the best that we've seen.
Cam has broken it down a number of times. When you really let it sink in, bottom 5 in the nation in third down efficiency, red zone offense, some other key statistic I'm not coming up with right now, the last 2 seasons. Yeah. That's just, when you look at the grade of program in school that they're ranked with, the UTEPs of the world in those categories, and to ask the defense to lift the offense time and time again with bad field position and 3 and outs and 3 and outs and 3 and outs. And based on current recruiting trends, this coming from a Clemson fan, I would assume this means Clemson's dipping into Florida. How concerned are Miami fans? with North Carolina over the next 10 years? Yeah, they've taken off.
First of all, Clemson is dipping into Florida, as are other top teams. So Ohio State, Georgia, Alabama, LSU. One of their star freshman last year, Frank Ladson from South Dade, like, he's a guy that got away. But yeah, not even talk. I mean, because Clemson selects now. They select nationally. They've had 2 decommitments in the last 8 years. Of those 2 people, one of them actually ended up signing at Clemson. So the other one went to Auburn. That's one player who's committed in the last 8 years who did not end up there. They go and select, and the players who they select and get commitments from go there invariably. But that's not even the point. I mean, and they're in such a different recruiting situation because their player development is incredible. They don't get any injuries. Like, everybody, it's just like, it's ridiculous right now. But they're not even talking about them. They're talking about UNC, because UNC is starting to turn up on the recruiting trail. Mac Brown is really, really turning it on. I respect all of our opponents, but I don't fear them. And I don't necessarily think that the recruiting trend right now is to a point where Miami is going to have a dearth of talent in comparison to North Carolina, but Miami does need to turn it up or keep it to the level where it has been in terms of recruiting. So, I mean, we'll see. And I mean, you're one class in with North Carolina. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, they got Sam Howell to flip right before signing day, right after Mac Brown got hired. But you're one class in there. You're one class in with Manny Diaz as the head coach here as well. So I don't really think that there's a difference. I don't think that it's trending far enough. They're not trending high enough and we're not trending low enough where it's like, okay, they're at number 8 and we're at number 27. And is that going to continue? You know, it's not there. It's very par level. I think that this year's recruiting class and next year's, that's really where you're going to start to see if there's going to be a separation with North Carolina's recruiting trending up while Miami's trends down. It's going to be in these next 2 years based upon what happens on the field. So I think it's a little too early for that kind of comparison. I don't think that we have the data to really see that. I don't think that there's the data that supports that theirs is trending up way, way, way more than ours. Sure, they have gotten a couple of highly recruited or ranked guys to commit home in this 2021 class recently. But Miami still has a very good group of guys that are recruiting or that are committed to Miami and that we're recruiting also. So it's not like we're losing everybody and they're getting everybody. So I think that question maybe is a little bit premature. But in terms of who the main obstacle, the main team that we will be competing against in the Coastal for the next few years, I think that North Carolina is asserting themselves into that position. And that's what I will say, but like concerned or like in that kind of a way. And maybe I'm just playing the semantics, but I'm not there yet with it. And also I think that we need like at least another year, if not 2, to really see a recruiting trend over time. Because if you look back anywhere from 2020 backwards 4 or 5 years, then it's North Carolina who's concerned with the level of talent that Miami's recruiting. So 1 year is not going to flip that. So I would say let's see a little bit more before we evaluate that. And hopefully we don't see any more and Miami continues to be at least at their same par level, if not getting higher. And then really, unless North Carolina elevates to top 5, then, you know, it'll be at worst equal, in terms of talent.